Hey guys, welcome back to another ski video of mine. It's later October now, so starting to get ready for the ski season. We may have a big storm coming into Tahoe here in a little bit. I wanted to maybe make a few ski videos, get everyone hyped up for skiing, keep growing the skiing part of my channel. Overall, just make some more videos for you guys. So I wanted to do an updated ski quiver. And I made my first ski quiver video here like 2 winters ago. Since then, I've gone through a lot more pairs of skis, kind of changed up boots, changed up this and that. So I figured I could do a little update video, be like all the other ski YouTubers out there. And I'm gonna go through phases here. I had to pull them all out. So it's time to start waxing and cutting skins and stuff like that for any sort of new skis. I'll start with inbound skis and then move to backcountry skis. And then I will also talk about the boots that I pair with the skis, because I also am going to be switching between like 4 or so different pairs of boots this year. For those of you who don't know me, and probably want to know my stats anyway, I am about 5'8" or so, 5'9". During the winter, I'm a full-time ski guide, so I ski like maybe about 6 months a year on average, and I ski anywhere from 100 to 120 days or so a year as well. 70% of those days, maybe 80, are all in the backcountry. So I teach a lot of avalanche courses. I also do a lot of just standard ski guiding. I do a lot of ski mountaineering and guide ski mountaineering. And so because of that, my quiver has kind of grown to those specific elements within my setup. I also have a background in ski patrol, so I did that for a little bit of ski instruction a while ago as well. So all that has kind of come together into what makes my quiver and my preference with skis. I think, I'm looking at them right now, I don't think I bought any of these skis full price. So I pretty much either go with last year's models or any sort of good pro deals, end of season discounts, that sort of thing. So if you're gonna run and do all the math on how much money I spent here, it's still a whole lot, but the easy excuse is it's just part of your job. With that being said, it's kind of like I'm also obsessed with kind of finding the right tool for the right job, and that means maybe bringing out a more lightweight ski when that's appropriate versus having a more heavy-duty powder-type ski when that's appropriate. So I wanted to just preface the video with all of that stuff. With that being said, why don't we just get into it? I'm going to start with inbound skis, because since those are mostly just for fun and enjoyment versus work, I don't have as many as I do for backcountry skis. It's a bit of an easier topic to talk about because there's not as much variability. And so starting off, maybe I'll start with my thinnest and smallest length ski right here. This is the Rossignol Experience 82 Ti. This is just a really great directional ski. I have a Marker Griffin 13. Yeah, Marker Griffin 13 on this ski, which is sort of the same inbound binding that I at least have on this Blaze right here. And it's a pretty common inbound binding for me just because it's very durable. It's very cheap, very easy to get. Almost every store has them in stock. And I'm not super picky about my inbound bindings. I would maybe like to try something like a Look Pivot in the future. Those things look pretty sick. And then maybe something more like a 50-50 binding in the future as well. Either the ATK High Free, also the Duke PT would be another good option for like a 50-50 ski. If I wanted to bring something like my Blaze into the backcountry and still have full downhill performance, and then mostly ski with it in the resort and only have a few, like 1 tour on it per year, a good Duke PT on the Blaze or a cast system would be really epic. So maybe that'll happen in the future. But for now, this is kind of my primary inbounds binding, is the Griffin 13. The great part about the Experience, if I can get the tail, you can see it's very little tail rocker, very small shovel that just swooped up at the end right there. It's not fully made for piste, like you can kind of see that in the tip right here, with the swoop being a little bit lower down on the shovel part versus right at the top. So it's a really good carving ski, but it still has a bit of an all-mountain feel to it. And I'm pretty sure Rossignol markets this as an all-mountain ski. That's a bit more of what I ski inbounds. I don't spend as much time on the groomers. I'm more often in the chundery, icy, sloppy, off groomer type stuff. That's just sort of the stuff I like to ski. It's not a full-on specific groomer ski, but it is a good, more all-mountain thin ski for when conditions are icy, and it still carves pretty well. I've had this ski for about 5 years now, maybe going on 6. It's still in really good shape because it only gets like maybe, a little bit less than 10 days of use a year. It does depend on the year, of course. A higher snow year, this thing may not get used at all. So I'm not ready to get rid of it yet because it still kind of has a place for me, and it's really great for working on just straight up technique. If I feel like I'm getting a little sloppy with my turns or my turn initiation or something like that, then this ski is a great lie detector ski. This one I'll probably just have for the rest of my life, maybe. Moving up in size, or width, I guess width and size really, is the Volkl M6 Mantra. Now I got this back when the M6 was the most current model. The last winter they came out with the M7 Mantra. I haven't skied the M7. I assume it's pretty great. A lot of people seem to like it. But I'm still enjoying my M6. This is a great crud buster ski because it's just so heavy. This is probably the heaviest ski I have out of all the skis right here. It's a very thick metal top sheet right here, and it's also very directional. You can see how Volkl, the tip of their ski, it rises right at the top, and so it's maybe a bit of a different sort of shape than something like going down the Rossignol lineup right here. If I were to get a thicker Rossignol, I bet you the tip shape is a bit different than the equivalent size of this M6 right here. This also has their 3D turn technology, and since I tend to swivel a bit more, I'm a bit more of a turny skier rather than a straight skier. I actually kind of like that. So I kind of initiate my turns from the mid part of the ski, whereas if you initiate from the top, you can kind of lengthen out the ski and get a bit more of an arcing radius. It's a very interesting setup. And then there's something how you can also use the tail for that final third piece radius, like for that 3D radius like that. This is also a fully directional ski, obviously, and it works great on groomers and stuff. The binding is the only thing that I have an issue with. This is an old, a Marker F12 Tour. And so this is a full-on frame binding, which is kind of funny. You put like the heaviest binding on the heaviest ski. But I've never toured with it, and I don't really intend to tour on this ski. I do not have skins made up for this ski at all. So I put the F12 on there because it was the binding I had at the time when I bought these things. And so maybe this winter, maybe next winter, it's hard to say since winter hasn't even really started yet, I would like to replace this binding with something a bit more performance oriented. Like it'd be really sick to have like a look pivot on these skis. And then the biggest issue with the touring binding or the frame binding here is since you have this big chunk of plastic, it doesn't really let the ski flex as easily under your foot as a more split up binding. Going back to the grip in here, since there's nothing connecting the toe piece with the heel piece, the ski can flex underneath your foot right here. And that's something that frame bindings prevent your skis from doing when you're really trying to push into them. Kind of my biggest issue. I think I would use this ski a lot more if it weren't for this binding. But still, I think that this ski probably gets used, on the crud busting days. So it probably gets used about 15 days a year or so. I just got it serviced for the first time. You can see the base right here looks really nice. I got it base grinded and they waxed it for me, so it looks brand new. But this is either the third or fourth winter that I've owned these skis, so it was kind of time to actually give them a little bit of love. And all that can be said also about this Blaze. So I got the Blaze the same year, I think, as the Mantra, maybe offset by a few months. So this is about its third year in use, maybe fourth. And this is definitely my favorite inbound ski, as long as we have the conditions for it. At the moment, this is my fattest inbound ski. It's also my longest. So far, it's been pretty okay. You can tell that they built it a little bit more for powder. Like the tail swoop, the little bit of tail rocker at the end is a bit more pronounced. The shovel is a bit, how do I get this in the camera? Here we go. The shovel is a bit wider and a bit more pushed down from the tip, so it helps with rising in the powder a bit more. So this is a really good inbounds powder ski, and I don't even like to go super fat with my inbounds powder skis because it gets chewed up so fast that it's kind of hard to really, you know, get full value out of that ski. Maybe getting a 115 or something in the future purely for inbounds powder could be kind of fun, but that ski would definitely see like 1 or 2 uses a year, maybe even go full seasons without a use. Whereas this ski gets used the most out of any inbound ski I own. I think this probably gets at least somewhere in the line of 15 uses per year, maybe up to 20, depending on the season. Definitely my favorite ski. This is a Marker Griffin 13 on it, as per usual. Actually, Volkl recommends using marker bindings because Marker and Volkl work together when they're testing out and developing skis. So they'll put a little sticker. There's a sticker right here that says recommended to mount with marker bindings. Yeah, Griffin 13, still good, solid binding. I don't really mind using it. Other people have problems with it. It can get annoying. There's a lot of space right here, so if snow packs in and develops into ice, that could be rather annoying. But yeah, good ski. I also got this one serviced same time as the Volkl, so it got base grinded, and one of these skis had a pretty big gouge from a rock, which they also fixed. I try to take good care of my inbound skis just because since I'm not riding them every day like in a ski patrol environment, they can last a really long time. I'm pretty certain I could get at least 5 years of use out of any of these skis. These thin ones in the middle, I could get more than that, easy, maybe up to 10. But yeah, definitely for my all-mountain daily doer skis on either side of here, I'm pretty sure I could use them for about 5 years and then maybe have to think about replacing them. I like to think that this Mantra right here will last me my whole life because it's such a big burly ski. It's pretty nice. So for the past 3-ish years or so, 3 to 4 years maybe, I've had these 3 as my primary inbound skis, and that's all I've had. This year I saw a deal on Ski Essentials. It was last year model ski, and they will mount them for you. So you can get the ski and the binding together for a pretty good deal. So I thought maybe, you know, it's a bunch of directional skis, which are really great for working on technique and stuff, but maybe it's time to have a little bit more fun. So I went ahead and I picked up a pair of these, the Line Honey Badgers. And what I wanted was a pair of full twin tip skis. So look at that tip, and then look at the front tip. Total twin tip symmetrical skis, and also quite flexy. So traditionally, I've been using these skis inbounds, and they are very directional and not flexy at all. Whereas these Honey Badgers are the opposite. They are very flexy, and then they have twin and tail, or dual twin tail rocker, kind of like a park ski. Now, since I am still very much a directional skier, the mounting line, this is on recommended, but it is a little bit back from true center. True center may be about here, and then the mounting line is right there. And I kind of made sure that would happen, so I'm not a full-on park rat yet, but I bought these to just have fun in the resort. So if I'm just like skiing around on powder or maybe dust on crust or whatever, I can have a nice releasable tail and just sort of swerve and slarve through everything. I actually think that would be fun to spend a few days a year just like kind of smoothing around the resort. They're not waxed yet, and they're mounted with a Solomon Strive 14 binding. So it's just whatever Ski Essentials, was going to pair with it. Obviously, they're going to go for more of a park style type binding, but it works just the same in the park as anywhere else. I have the DINs set on 9, which is what I set all of my inbounds DINs on, or 8. Something, not super crazy. It's not all the way up to 14 because I'm not going to be doing crazy jumps with it or anything. It's just for skiing and slarving around the resort. Now, as far as boots go for inbounds, all these skis are fitted with the same boot. This is my Dynafit T-Guard or Tie-Guard or whatever. It's on the 50-50 spectrum of boots, so it's about 1,500 grams. It can go into inbounds bindings. It can go into tech bindings, grip walk sole, all the usual stuff. The walk mode is actually very good for a boot like this. And I have it suited up with some other stuff, which I actually talk about in my ski boot video. Nothing has changed since I made that. So if you're interested in how I have this boot set up for me, you can look at that one. I kind of like using a 50-50 boot inbounds because it is a bit lighter. It fits my style a bit more. But this boot actually sends really hard. I really like Dynafit as a company, so of course I use their products a lot. So it's a great boot that I can use to fit any of these skis, and I ski within the resort every day, so this boot maybe gets 30-ish days of use a year. Or if I really wanted to, some of my heavier backcountry skis, I can adjust the bindings out, so that way this boot will work for a number of my backcountry skis if I ever want to bring this into the backcountry. Also, if I ever do get a more 50-50 setup, like on this Blaze, cast system or whatever, then I could still use this boot with that cast system and be pretty happy. That's pretty much it for my inbound skis. Let's switch them out for the backcountry skis now.
Okay.
And I'll see you on the ground.
Okay.
Whee!